Today, let's learn how to make a no-knead sourdough bread and what to expect when you do so. It's going to be a little bit different in texture, so don't worry. Here are the ingredients, but as always, there'll be a link below for full nutrition and details. Before we begin, please note that this has to rest overnight about 12 hours before continuing. So if you don't have about 18 hours to devote to this, you want to stop and wait until you can. You're going to get started by using your starter. You want a half a cup or 100 grams. You want it where it's still a little bit stretchy and there's plenty of bubbles. If it doesn't have this, you need to stop and you need to feed your starter and wait a few hours. To this, you add in 1 1/4 cups of water or 300 milliliters. You can use a scale, which is what I really highly recommend when making bread, but you can also use US measurements. I'm now going to add in 1 2/3 cup of whole wheat flour, which is 250 grams, and 1 2/3 cups of white flour, which is also 250 grams. Now, if you are using the US measurement cups, it's going to be a little bit different. So again, I recommend the scales, but if you don't have them, don't stress because this is a very basic introduction to sourdough bread and no-knead method. If you don't use the regular white flour, and you can use bread flour, all-purpose flour. I'm using all-purpose flour because I still can't find white bread flour in the stores, and that's okay. You can use 100% whole wheat. You want to use the exact same amount of water. If you don't want to use whole wheat flour, you want to reduce the water by 60 milliliters or 1/4 of a cup. Finally, you're going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt or 5 grams. And that is it for ingredients. It's a very easy recipe to make, doesn't require a lot of ingredients, and it gives you a really good introduction to sourdough bread. I like to stir this with the back of a spoon. It just makes it easier for me. You can use the full spoon or you can even use your hands. You want to just mix this until you get a shaggy dough. It takes maybe about 5 minutes total to make this recipe from beginning to end. Once it becomes a little too difficult to stir with the spoon, you remove it, and you might have to fold it a few times. It's not a really big deal. The only purpose of this is to make sure you get one big lumpy shaggy dough. Just give it a couple turns, and that's all you have to do. It will look a lot like this. Now you want to cover this, and you have two options. You can leave it to rest overnight, or you can wait at 20 minutes, and every 20 minutes you can do what is called the stretch and fold. I will show you the stretch and fold and you can decide which one you want to do. You just pick it up and you stretch it and fold it toward the center, and you do this on all the edges until you get a nice dough. Typically you go north, east, south, west. I find that I have to do 5 stretches and folds, and then I just pick it up and I toss it over, I cover it up, and you do this every 20 minutes for an hour if you want, or you just decide, I'm just going to let it do all the gluten work by time. It's all up to you. You want to let this rest at least 12 hours or until it's nice and bubbly and doubled in size. I waited about, I want to say 14 hours, and I'm going to sprinkle on a little bit of flour onto a clean work surface where I can shape this into a rough rectangle and place it into my pan. You don't have to use the flour. I just found the flour is easier for beginners. A lot of times if you aren't used to working with stickier doughs, you just end up fighting it and you get really upset, and there's no need to do that when you can just use a little bit of flour. Now, I'm not going to teach you anything about tension, but if you do want to learn how to create tension with dough, I will give you a link below and that will help you with the rise. But again, this is all about just learning the basics on how gluten works and how time will build the dough structure for you. Now, the longer you wait, the puffier your dough will be, because when you put this in the oven, you're not going to get a lot of oven spring because you didn't create that tension through kneading and you didn't create the tension through shaping the dough. And that is to be expected. Again, this is a no-knead, very little work method. This is all about waiting and having patience. So however long you let this rise on this second step, is how tall your dough is basically going to be. So please have a little bit of patience. Don't put this in straight in the oven or you're going to have a little brick and you're going to be really mad at me. So I'm just folding this over. I'm not creating any tension. I'm just trying to shape it to fit into the pan. And that is it. I'm going to pick it up, put it in a either nonstick pan or a lightly greased pan, and you're going to cover it. And now you're going to wait. The longer you wait, the better it's going to taste. Trust me on this. If you wait just an hour, you're going to have a sad, sad loaf. Wait until it at least doubles in size. If you can wait till it triples, even better. I want to show you that sometimes you'll get these little pockets that bust through. This is because we didn't shape the bread well. We didn't create tension. Again, this is a no knead, no fuss method. So expect this sometimes. Once you are happy with the size of the loaf, you're going to go ahead and preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. And it's not going to rise very much. Remember that. So wait as long as you possibly can. Bake it for 45 minutes or until golden brown. Toss it out. Tap it on the bottom. If it sounds hollow, it's done. This is going to be a dense loaf because it's got whole wheat flour in it. We didn't do any kneading and we didn't do any shaping, but it's still going to be very pleasant to taste and it's going to hold up well. It's going to be a nice sandwich style. It's not going to be under risen. I'm going to show you how to tell. What you'll want to do is look at the bottom of a slice of bread, and if there is a dense line, you'll know that you didn't rise it long enough. But if you see a uniform structure all the way through and it bounces back when you press on it, then you know it is well done. And I hope you enjoyed this. It's a very basic recipe, and I hope that this helps you have the courage to bake sourdough and understand that it is about technique as well as just creating the bread. You won't always get the results they promise you. That comes with time and practice. Happy baking.